Estranged mom or dad, do yourself a favor and let them go. Now, I know that is completely antithetical to what we know and believe as parents. The last thing we ever think is let them go. But we are in a different time and stage right now. And the letting go does not mean let go of the love you have for them. You're going to have that. That's a part of who you are now. It's not a matter of, drop them like a bad habit. No, 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 no. But this is, you cannot rebuild you while you're still holding on to them right now. Can you chew gum and walk? Yes, you can, but not when you're hurting. Not when you are still trying to figure out what life means for you. Because a large chunk of your life identity, your best years, which is typically our youth, has been toward our children. It's been raising them, loving them, nurturing them, teaching them, covering them, correcting them, all those good things. And so when you get knocked in, like gutted, the way that we have, this is what parental estrangement does. It guts you. It doesn't just, I'm upset with you right now. No, that's not what this is. This is psychological warfare and abuse toward you. You're looking at them like, that's my baby. They're looking at you like, and you need to know that right now. Doesn't mean that it can't be fixed or it will never be fixed in the future. But what it does mean is that you can't do that right now. And whether it's 10 years or 20 years, you are going to be with you for the rest of your life. You're going to be with you as you go to work, with school, up the block, to the supermarket. You are with you. And if all you're hearing is their words, if all you're hearing is what you're calling yourself or saying to yourself that is not that is negative, if all you're hearing is, oh my goodness, I remember the first cry, you're going to be stuck longer than you need to be. This is already a grueling process, but you can make the process longer. And so part of making it longer is holding on. What they're communicating to you is, I don't want you right now because I feel like I know a better way. Truthfully speaking, they don't. But right now, they don't know that they don't. The unfortunate part about it is that each particular generation have certain characteristics assigned to it. For us in our 50s, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm 55. For me, I think I'm a lot more reflective than what I used to be. Like in my 20s, I was not reflective. I was just doing me. This is what I want. This is what I'm doing. In my 30s, you begin to slow down, but it's still relatively the same almost. A little bit. I'm beginning to bud a little bit, but still you're there. In your 40s, different, but in your 50s, you're thinking legacy. You're thinking grandchildren. You're thinking, what are you going to leave behind? You're thinking all those things. They're not thinking about that. So they can't think like you're thinking. And part of this is we want them to remember, well, our mom, they're like trying to forget that. They want to forget. They want to create a mother that has no authority, a father that has no authority. They want to recreate what parenting is, not for themselves, but for you. But that's not what God created. See, with motherhood or with being a mom, with fatherhood or with being a dad, comes inherent divine rights. That is what God has given you. And for you, for some of us, not all of us, but for some of us, our children are saying that in order for you to have a relationship, or me to have a relationship with you, you're going to have to abandon that idea. Is that the kind of relationship you want? Because while they're sitting back and they're calculating all the charges against you, like they became judge and jury and you didn't even know that you was on trial. They came up with, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and you did this, and you're toxic, and all these wonderful therapeutic words that they think they know and that they've decided to try out on you. But what they don't do is calculate all the things you did do, like the time I took care of you for like 18 years. Like the time I covered you and loved you and took care of you and was there when the other parent was not there. The times that I went to your graduation, I had to call off and get people, somebody else to fill my spot. My supervisor was salty for like 2 weeks and he gave me the crappiest types of work schedule. But because it was important for me to be there for you, I was there. I showed up when other people didn't. I wiped your behind and your tears. I was there. I bought you clothes. I tried to make sure I did the best that I could with what I had, financially, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and every aspect of the words. I did it. Yeah, calculate those charges. See, but they don't talk about that. Because if they begin to calculate that, then that means that part outweighs all the toxic parenting that they're trying to ascribe. And I say that because they're throwing that word around and it doesn't apply. Not in all cases, but in many cases. But I digress because I'm not going to get caught up on that. And I'm sure I'm going to have some little trolls in my comments area talking about, oh my God, you're not taking accountability. Dude, you have no idea who you're talking to. I'm the one who does take accountability. I'm the one who does take responsibility. So much responsibility that, did I mention that I was there when the other parent wasn't? Did I? Yeah. So in your doing a favor is not to be in a place of resentment, but it's to go into, so you can start your healing process, right? By the time you're my age, you probably have one divorce, sadly but true, if not more. And we know that in that divorce, that in order for you to get your life back, you can't be holding on to the ring, have the marriage photos all over your home. You can't move on that way. You have to begin to make some changes. And that's what this let go is for. Now, if they come back, if your child decides that I want a relationship with you, then that means this let go period is you preparing yourself to be strong enough to have that relationship, to have even the conversation, because you and I both know that the conversations are really hard. This let go period is so you can build you. It's similar to, I like to try to think of examples that we probably lived through. It's similar to, like, I don't know, if you're trying to establish your credit, right? You're trying to get better credit and you have bad credit. There's a period where you say no. A 2-year period, a 3-year period, you say no to everything. Now, the little subscriptions and all this other stuff that we like to get, you do it for about 2 or 3 years to get it out of debt so that therefore you can say yes for the rest of your life. So therefore you have access, right? You cleaned up, you made some hard choices and hard decisions and hard practices that you implemented so that therefore you can say yes. Well, that's sort of kind of what this is. This is saying, I'm letting you go. You profess this was their doing. Let's be clear. I'm going no contact, or either you just found out about it on the internet as they're bashing your name and calling you Satan's spawn. Okay, well, I'm going to give you your wish. Okay, cool beans. I'm not going to do that. The love and the energy that I used to waste while you were screaming at me, I don't want to be bothered. I take that love. I still love you. But I take that love and now I bring it toward me. Now I need to rebuild me, to relearn me, to rediscover me, because so much of me was invested in being your mother, was invested in being a provider so I could be your mother, was invested in me being this so I can be the nurse so I could be your mother, all these other things. So now I'm finally going to learn how to be me, to listen to me, to trust, because you've been called names in this process. You've doubted your own identity in this process. You have been just kind of gutted out, and now you need to rebuild. And that can't happen while you're holding on to the same problem. Here's one last thing I want to leave with you. This was telling. Maybe not for you, maybe it is, I don't know. But I came to the realization that the same person who was hurting me could not heal me. Isn't that interesting how we kind of do that? You hurt me and I want you to heal me. They're not going to heal you. They're just going to add further pain. Whoever they are in this particular example. And so sometimes we're looking for them to heal us, but they can't. They're not even capable of doing it. Why? Because they don't know what it is to be a Gen X mom, to be a boomer mom. They don't know what that is. And often, many of us are dealing with multi-generational trauma. We're dealing with the trauma from our own childhood. Now we have trauma from our motherhood or fatherhood. So we're dealing with that. So you got some work to do. I believe in you, and I know you can get through it. If this resonated with you, drop it in the comments area. Just say, yeah, as in it's time. Don't forget to like, share, and to follow. Send this to a mom that you know that has been dealing with parental estrangement. Until then, until again, God bless you. Amen.